Guys, honestly, I wanted to film about Zelensky, Donald Trump, Putin, politics and everything, but we have some urgent news coming from Saratov. Saratov is a very important place for Russia. There is the Engels military airfield, which Russian strategic aviation constantly uses. But this time it wasn't this airfield, it was one of the biggest Russian oil refineries. And the situation right now for that refinery is not good at all. There were multiple of the Ukrainian drones which hit this area. Guys, I have my Telegram channel, you may find it in the video description below, and there I updated you during the night time. Yeah, for me it's nighttime or early morning while I'm filming this video. So there you obtain the most valid and the most fresh information. And later on I filmed videos about mainly what I post on Telegram. I think I should also share it on different platforms, I mean those posts. So here is the location, it is geo-confirmed, just look how big this refinery really is. So this tube over here and this is it, shining close to the fireball. Really outstanding and precise operation. Eyewitnesses, I watched lots of the videos which Russian film, well they stated that at least 3 of the drones hit the refinery, multiple of the areas of it. And here if you want to check the classical Russians.
Да, я переключу, пиздец. Да, смотри, просто, братуха, охуеть. Уже 3 дрона туда заехало, прикинь, и все-таки один попал четко. В смысле пизда? Пизда,
если он сейчас ебанет, он ебанет.
Не, они не попались.
Но он не в эту западал.
So local experts indeed confirm with their video and with their, how to say, logical outcome that drones, many drones, they say, hit the place and it is total to Zavod, to this factory. Yeah, sorry for the sound because YouTube sometimes it's not okay with even that. So I have to filter it as much as I can. And this is the morning picture taken from far away. So this factory is no go. It's constantly burning. And here is one more hit in different areas. So yeah, multiple of the drones hit it. Russians filmed this area, so the smoke is coming from this place. The cameraman is surprised that the fire truck is going to completely different side. Yeah, this is the car, which is nearby, probably some sort of the bus or something. And yeah, people filmed this refinery. Yeah, it's kaputted, been kaputted, and will be if it is not yet. But I'm sure it's gone maybe for years. Because from what I saw, too many devastations are on the territory. And it's happening every day. Like the last night there was one more oil refinery kaputted by Ukrainian drones. This one is in Krasnodar Oblast. Yeah, it is much smaller, but still. And totally for the last 10 days, Ukraine really intensifies the strikes on Russian refinery facilities. So Russia even had to ban once again benzene and diesel export. The prices for people are not going up yet. Russia has reserves, but it will not continue for a long time. There will be the shortage for sure, because for the last week Russia lost 10% of their refinery capabilities. Here we have this oil refinery base. The NASA satellite fire detection images detected the fire on territory. What a surprise! But you might say that this refinery is definitely a big one, and here lower is the oil storage or benzene or diesel storage, which wasn't really hit. So refinery is the most important. I wonder if we can go there using the 3D map. So this is Ukraine and this is Saratov. Engels base is nearby. Yeah, we can go with 3D. So this is Engels base and this is this big oil refinery. So let's drop like this. Yeah, it's still flat, but here is this facility, really huge, like compared to the city itself, right? It's really big. And now it is no more because the very sensitive this facility, the refinery complex itself, it was hit. Multiple of the times the equipment is really sensitive, it is hard to repair, it is hard to replace. So the new sanctions were applied on it. You see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of the refinery facility. By the way, what's about the airport? Do we have some of the airplanes on the ground? Yay! We have some of the Russian strategic aviation Tupolev 95 with wheels on the top. Also Tupolev 222 M3 we have, but with no wheels. Probably old images. By the way, spider web operation also touched this airfield, so it's like a big kaboom city of Russia. Saratov together with Engels, but it counts like one city. You have everything there: military bases, refineries, airfields, strategic aviation. Choose what you like, you'll never miss. Interesting headline: Fuel panic in Russia as Ukrainian drones devastate oil refineries. This article is dated from August the 7th, and now it's August 10th already. So for those 3 days, Ukraine hit 3 oil refineries, 1 oil refinery every freaking day. That's the new way of how to really harm Russian military and Russian economy altogether. And I may tell you that those strikes are so sensitive for Russia that they negotiated before with the United States and Ukraine to avoid strikes on energy infrastructure. But later on, Russia itself attacked Ukrainian energy and civilian infrastructure. So Ukraine has absolute right to renew the oil sanctions applied on Russia, and definitely it works. I'm not sure if Donny would tell something to Ukraine that Ukraine should hold those strikes, but I think nowadays Ukraine doesn't really care. We understand that with a new wind blowing from the White House that they really support Putin's initiatives. Ukraine might tell to go and f yourself to Donny and Putin all together, because they want to trade Ukrainian sovereignty, which will not happen, as we know already. More about the Russian oil: Canada joins allies in lowering price cap for the Russian oil from 60 bucks to 47.6, but still Russia is capable to sell their oil to some of the countries, like for example India and China. But with India, there could be some of the issues. We have the news that India, after all, purchases the United States and Middle East crude oil as Trump slams Russia purchases. So for United States of America, they rose the tariffs on Indian goods just to force India to purchase United States oil. That's why I continue to tell you that it has nothing to do with Ukraine or Russia. Trump uses it as an excuse to sell more oil. That's it. And for example, United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright already told to Fox News that United States are working with Asian partners to replace Russian oil with American one. It is the only reason for the tariffs. So yeah, yesterday I promised you to tell why do I think that it has nothing to do with Ukraine. Well, here you have the response. Money, business, nothing more than that. It is just a coincidence that it helps us. But there will be no 100% tariffs or 500% tariffs applied on China, India, no. They want to push those countries just a little. For China, it's really impossible to push more because United States officials already say that it could harm American economy, so they understood that the policy with increasing tariffs is terrible, but they cannot cancel those because they were screaming before that hooray, tariffs are working. At the same time, they will not rise those significantly. The good thing that Russia loses oil markets little by little. Russia received less than 10 billion from oil and gas in July. So the revenues dropped by 27% in the last months. We'll check out the statistics for the August. For now, between January and July this year alone, Russia lost around 18.5% of oil and gas revenues. And because of this, Minfin, the financial ministry of Russia, is on high alert. They say that Russia is losing 1 trillion rubles each month. How big is that? Well, $10 billion because their budget is planned for this money. Yeah, Russia will still have money for their military, but their economy is declining. Russia has to cut some other spheres. As the Russian Interfax reports, relying to Minfin statistics, that there could be cut in budget of the Russian Federation, which might postpone some of the projects like infrastructure, healthcare, education, everything. And believe me, Putin will still put every available money to reach his military goal in Ukraine. Yeah, the most expensive projects behind military are infrastructure projects, and their implementation might be postponed until later time. What later time, no one knows, because Putin is full in this war. So before all of those central bank clerks like Davydov, they tried to save the Russian economy, but they're not magicians. That's why the Russian economy for the first time will face near zero growth by the end of 2025. But even the previous light growth of the Russian economy in 2024 was artificial because Russia created demand from inside. Basically, the Russian government took the loans from their banks, government banks, and not only Later, they made many people millionaires and they invest a lot into the military production. So those sectors continued to grow and people started to receive 3-4 times more salary compared to the pre-war time. So for those Russians who work in the military sector, the war for them is pretty much profitable. They pray for it to continue as much as possible. But yeah, sometimes war may visit them directly, like it happened for some of the Russians in Saratov today. But eventually, with the oil crisis Russia might experience quite soon, the Russian economy has no choice but to stagnate or stagflate. That's the new definition of the future of the Russian economy. But still, I predict that Russia could allow to continue the war for at least 3 years, because they still will have some money which they could invest mostly into military. And the countries like North Korea, China, they continue to support the Russian Federation. And not long time ago, China told the European Union that it doesn't want to see Russia lose its war in Ukraine. Kaja Kallas went to China and she receives this kind of the remark from the Chinese foreign minister. Wang Yi, I think it's Wang Yi, yeah, that's the name of the guy. So China wants to do everything for the war to continue. It's very profitable for China because China purchases very cheap Russian oil and gas, plus other resources. And also Russia is kind of weak now, then it is fighting with Ukraine and it is not able to possess any threat to China, because after all they're mates but not close friends. And there was the escalation even between the Soviet Union and China Communist Republic. During the Soviet time there was the military confrontation. Yeah, over the small island at the border, but it was, and Soviet Union was officially a communist country. Yeah, actually it was the socialist country, but the ideology was communism. There was communism in China, so as it is right now. So ideologically, Soviet Union and China were very close, but still there was the actual fight. So potentially it could spark once again. Plus, you know, United States and allies, they're very busy nowadays with Russia, so China may feel more or less free in its region. With all of those military exercises around Taiwan and China, I think it may start the military action, special military operation against Taiwan, as experts say, till 2027, but we'll see. So about this trio, good, bad and ugly. Guys, honestly saying to you, I'm tired of this topic, but I'll have to tell about it. Probably just a little later, just wait maybe a few hours. I just need to sleep, to get a nap and record one more video for you. This topic is very important because the bad in this negotiation is the military support of Ukraine. That's why Putin is again playing Donald Trump in his own favor. Unfortunately, he's so successful in it. Like, we were already at the ultimatum, final days, everyone was counting. Then Trump applies sanctions on Putin, but Trump again tackles at the very last moment. But more, guys, in my next video. Guys, I'm very thankful for you for understanding my position of the Trump's issue. I think most of you share the same ideas, and you should be blind not to see what is happening, right? So thank you so much, guys, for your awesome support, because 1 year ago then I was thinking, oh, should I film about Donald Trump, because maybe there is the great part of my audience who loves him so much, but finally there are many more sane people on my channel watching my updates. Thank you guys so much. And my friends, if you want to support my Japan Patreon, the link for it as usual in the video description below. Thank you so much for making those videos happening. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to film it. And guys, please check out my other videos I filmed recently. For example, awesome news from the southern front lines. Ukraine pushed Russia more. Yeah, in general, Russia has the advantage, but nevertheless, there are some of the good news. And also, Russia lost its very modern TUG ship, which is also the base for the Russian military helicopters. Plus, that ship was used for the emergency rescue services and also for the possible landing operations. And Russia lost it somehow. They say that it happened because of the sabotage. Well, maybe I'll trust them here. Well, my friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.